G'day and welcome back to the OPL Week 8, day number 2, about to go into the final set of the week. It will be the Bombers looking to take flight against the Chiefs Esports Club, currently top of the ladder, looking to retain that with a clean 2-0. Hello everyone, my name is Jake Spawn Tiberi. Joining me is Tim Carbon-Wendell. And what I want to ask before we get into this game is how a good man from Melbourne ended up supporting the Adelaide Football Club of all damn teams in the AFL. What happened?
Well, if that good man from Melbourne is born in Adelaide, that tends to happen.
Surely you saw the light when you came down to the most livable city in the world.
I did see the light, and that's why I lived in Melbourne for 20 years and not in Adelaide. But also, I don't believe in changing clubs. So,
so you're a lifer.
Yeah.
In
you choose a club. You choose a. Well, like once you've chosen a club, like I think that's it. Like I don't think you get to change just because that club sucked. Like that's not being a fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think.
I've been with
That's called
Essendon
being a
through the
flog.
ups and the downs, and lots of the downs, and some more of the downs, and hoping for an up season.
That'll just make the win that much better.
Yeah, it certainly will. Let's take a look at this matchup. It's going to be the Chiefs Esports Club taking on the Bombers. And Carbon, I have a theory. And I had lots of theories, and none of them have been proven correct so far.
Share it with me.
Hear me out on this one.
Share it with the people.
But if the Bombers are going to beat a top 4 team right now, and I consider the top 4 teams to be, in no particular order, Direwolves, Legacy, Order, and the Chiefs, it will be the Chiefs Esports Club. Because I think that of the top 4, the Chiefs are the only team that have a noticeable weakness on the top side of the map in Swiper. And I think that sleeping is the only X factor for me in these matchups for the Bombers to be able to take games. I think that Mimic is better than him. I think Tally goes toe-to-toe well. I think Chippies is definitely better than him. I think potentially he can look to expose Sliper, especially if he blinds picks something like Inara or Sion, and they can take a Fiora matchup.
Yeah, I agree. I think Sleeping is definitely the shining light on this roster. We've seen a couple of times where they've given him the counter pick, and he definitely has. He shows sort of flashes of brilliance. He definitely has his moments. And I think in comparison to the rest of his team, you know, Tiger and Luch, the other 2 carry roles, very big on just sort of passively farming and hoping to get into that big late game team fight where they can shine. But unfortunately, the way League is, everyone keeps getting better and better every year. You can't just farm for the late game anymore. These teams, especially those top teams that you mentioned, are going to punish you way before you get there.
They'll beat you in 26 minutes.
24 minutes. Chiefs especially. Chiefs are I think you know the stat better than I do, but I think they're the #1 team for...
When they have a gold lead, 11 out of 11 games, they beat
win.
you at 15 minutes.
At 15 minutes. If they have a gold lead at 15 minutes, they will win every single time.
That's impressive.
That is nuts.
Another team that is undefeated with gold leads at 15 minutes, but unfortunately just cannot generate them as well anymore, is Order. And let's throw it over to Laura and Spooks, their jungler.
Thank you very much, guys. What have you got to say about that stat, Spooks?
Well, I mean, if we're getting the gold leads... Wait, we don't get the gold leads. Oh, that's probably on me because I'm the jungler. Oh, that's unfortunate. You know, I'll work harder on that one.
Well, the second series of the day is between Chiefs and the Bombers. And the Chiefs are coming into this week on the top of the leaderboard. A bit of a dark horse sneaking through the ladder there. And going up against the Bombers, a team that we've seen week to week improving. And I think they finally found their footing in these last few weeks. But the Chiefs are coming off a huge winning streak. But I also want to focus on this top lane matchup because we've been tracking Sleeping and he has stepped up over the past few weeks. But will he step up today? Because he's going up against Swiper. I mean, he's a legend. We've seen time and time again, teams tried to put him down, but it always amounts to nothing. He ends up coming back in these team fights in other areas of the map. You're good friends with Big Swips, the Armored Titan, the man of many names. What do you think of him at the moment, but also Sleeping?
Yeah, no, look, I do love Dossie. I think... My opinion on Dossie right now is that he does get exposed a little bit early game. I think like he does absorb like a lot of pressure, but I think that pressure stems from the fact that he's taken some poor trades early. I think he has some traits that makes him better like than other top laners, especially around like the mid game. I think he's very good at roaming. Like he has a good map impact and his team fights really well. But definitely in those early stages when he takes those bad trades, like the good teams will expose him. Like, you know, the Direwolves, you know, hopefully us next week, seem to be able to like set up those dives on the Chiefs. And I think, you know, that is probably their weak point in the lane phase.
Do you think Sleeping will be able to take advantage of that today?
I think, yeah, Sleeping's been very inconsistent. I think all of Bombers, they kind of, in OPL especially, they're very passive, and that's kind of not how you play the game at all, especially on this patch now that there's a lot less vision. You need to be very proactive. And outside of sleeping, showing some games on Riven and stuff like that, I don't think he's looked too convincing. But, I guess there's potential today, yeah.
At the beginning of the day, we did say that this series was probably going to be the closer one out of the two. Do you think Bombers are going to take a game today, or what do you think your prediction is going to be for this series?
Yeah, I think the problem is that the Chiefs are really good against those middle to bottom tier teams. I think, against Avant, against Legacy, against all the lower tier teams than that, they've just crushed them in 20 minutes. I think that just stems from strong laning, especially from mid and bot lane. It is more of a chance for Bombers to beat Chiefs than obviously Tectonic beating Direwolves, but it's still a slim chance.
You're going to give this 2-0 to the Chiefs then, or a 2-1?
I want to say 2-0 for the Bombers so that
just to spice it up.
Yeah, no. Honestly, I think it'll be 2-0 for the Chiefs.
2-0 to the Chiefs for me as well. Not to be a copycat, but it's the Chiefs. But remember, if you'd like to make your own tips at home, head on over to opltips.com.au where we have those Hungry Jacks vouchers available to win, the $25, $50 and $100 vouchers, as well as the XP boost and RP prizes. More information on how you can participate in the competition and those prizes can be found at opltips.com.au. Speaks will also be answering your questions very shortly, so if there's anything last minute you'd like to send in to ask him, send them to us over on Facebook or Twitter using the hashtag #LikeNoOther, and you could win yourself a mystery skin. Thank you once again for your thoughts, Spooks. But to get the second series underway, let's hand it back to Jake and Carbon.
Thank you so much. So 2 O's across the board again for the Chiefs. No surprise. I want to hone in on their new jungler, Babip, a man that you spent a lot of time with, potentially being patched in right now, Carvin. The Kha'Zix is coming back.
Yep.
Less tank junglers, maybe the Nidalee, maybe something like the Rengar. Is this his time to shine?
I think this patch is good for Babip, Leo Roma. I'm just going to refer to him as Leo from now on because I know I'm going to do it by accident every single time anyway. So just going to preface it with that. I think this patch definitely does help Leo. Leo, he's not a great macro jungler in the sense of playing around vision, tracking camps. These were not his strengths while I worked with him. He was definitely a lot better at just murdering people. He has really good micro, potentially the best micro in the league, I think, for a jungler. He plays a lot of carry champions, and he plays them really well. He's great at pushing a lead, especially in those 1v1s. If the map is sort of unaffected, but he's ahead of the other jungler, that's where he thrives. I think with the removal of Green Smite, that's going to help him a lot, so that macro side is sort of taken away, so it's harder for him to get punished at not being so great at that, and then being allowed to build Red Smite, which, let's be real, he was building at the start of this split anyway.
Yep.
And being able to just take that Red Smite every game, I think it's definitely going to help him.
All right, so Yuli's mentor for 2 years. How does the Rek'Sai, Sightstone, Nunu, Ivan, master with old man hands, not teach a kid of 17, 18 to play macro?
Well, you do. I tried, and I don't know, he just didn't listen to me, I suppose.
Does not listen.
But maybe that was for the best. I don't know. He's on top.
Maybe it was for
Can't
the best.
argue with the results.
Let's have a look at the lineups. It's going to be the Chiefs Esports Club hiding behind their shields one more time as the Avengers. It's going to be Swiper in the top lane. Babip is their jungler. Ryoma is their mid laner. Raze and Destiny are their AD carry and support. Perfection. Richard Su is their coach, and they're going up against the Bombers. Sleeping in the top lane. Seb, their jungler. Luch is their mid laner. Tiger and Rosie are their AD carry and support. And Windows Monkey got that firmware update that you wanted. And last week, they played very well.
Yep, I agree. Coach is it's becoming a more and more important role as the scene develops. Teams move into houses. Coaches move into houses.
Yep.
Coaches are responsible for draft. The better players get at the game, the more important draft becomes. So it's super important that your coach is performing as well as your players, and especially when you have a completely new roster like these guys do. They brought in 2 imports, switched out their support, so a lot of new faces on this lineup, and that makes the coach even more important.
I certainly agree as we do get into Champions Select for game number 1 of the Chiefs and Bombers. Big pressure on both Fantix as well as Windows Monkey to come up with something crafty today. And it's going to be our first ban, Volley Bear.
Okay.
What the heck?
I don't know, man. It's all right. I actually don't think Volley Bear's that good.
I think he sucks.
I have played against him in solo queue a few times. Maybe there's a Volibear enthusiast on the Bombers.
Well, Chippies and Tally were running around the first day of the changes in solo queue playing Volibear, and you see that their games got worse. So, like, first game, they were like 10-0, this thing's amazing. Then it's like, 7-3, and then they lose a game where they're like 6-4 because they can't split push, and then they're just going like 0-5, 0-5, then they put the champion in the bin where it belongs.
Yeah. The problem with Volley, or really any rework, is on the first day you have the advantage of knowing what the champ does when the enemy doesn't, and as soon as everyone sort of figures out what the new kit is, we find that actually the rework champion is still pretty poopy. So, but I don't know, it got banned, so Chiefs obviously spooked by the bear in blue.
Or maybe something like the Urgot, they just want to remove a comfortable champion that they don't really get all that much practice about, especially if Swiper wants to blind pick Nah, because he can knock him out of the sky with that swat.
Yeah, curious to see whether or not Bombers ban it.
Yeah,
ban that blind pick.
Well, he said he's a one trick, and that is his one trick, so it wouldn't be a bad ban. It's going to be Varus and Skarner joining the bench, as well as Sion and Cassiopeia. Something that the OPL has done actually more this year, and I'm talking about not the broadcast, but all the players, is I feel like everyone is like heaps more honest. When they're like, come on, they're like, I had a bad game, or this champion, I'm heaps better than anything else. Or Sharp's like, we just pick 1-3-1 and hope that our lanes crush. Like, I think that there's that element of being a little bit more genuine this year.
Yeah. And I think that's valuable. I think it's good for the fans. I think it's good for us. And I think it's good for them. It's not fun to constantly have to
skirt questions.
Yeah, or like edit what you want to say, or sort of put the muzzle on. Like you want to tell the truth. Fans want to hear the truth. Everyone's sort of afraid of the backlash of potentially saying the wrong thing, and when you do say the wrong thing, there will be backlash. But ultimately, I think it's just a much healthier, more entertaining scene if everyone just says what they think.
Yeah, I certainly found it this way. As Ryoma grabs Rise immediately, especially with Cassiopeia banned, that is a pick that has just risen to prevalence, played beautifully by Claire yesterday against the team I can't remember. And it's going to be Olaf as well as Alistar locked in. That is a very go-forward comp out of the Bombers so far.
Yep, I'd like the Alistar pick, taking that away from Destiny. He's a fantastic alley player, very good. The Rakan is a great engage support. I think Chiefs look best when Destiny's playing on that engage.
Yep.
He hasn't picked it here, so it'd be curious to see what other champions they pick to maybe fill that hole.
Yeah, Fantix's pants. I've been staring at them as well, and I've just been told to point them out on broadcast.
Pantix.
They are very interesting.
Pants ticks.
They look comfy, though. I wish I got to wear comfy pants. I'm in chinos. I just want to wear trackies, but then I'm scared that they're going to put me on the desk, on the couch, and then people are going to, I'm going to be exposed. It's actually a strangely aggressive bottom lane in Tristana as well as Taric, because Tristana can leap forward with that stun.
Yeah.
This is a very fun lane picked up, and it's going to be a Taliyah.
Okay. So they're picking their mid laner here so that Chiefs can't pinch that pool. We've already seen Cassio taken off the table. I don't think there are very many other good matchups into Rise. I mean, Azir didn't get banned, but Leech potentially not wanting to play that Azir.
Yep.
I think one of the things, especially with the lower tier teams, is when you pick farming champions, you're just giving room for the enemy to outplay you.
And sometimes the game just gets ahead of you. And if you're Luch and you think you're the star player, which I'm sure Luch does because he's a very good player in his own right, he wants to have some agency to win this game.
Yeah, exactly. Agency is a very good term to use. Picking something that scales and farms. I think Claire yesterday on the Corki, we saw it where he sort of just did nothing for 10 minutes. Yeah, okay, he had over 10 CS per minute, but what does that really mean when you've already lost the game? So I like the Taliyah pick there, and we'll see the jungle pool pinched by Bombers because they already have that Olaf.
Personally, I was a massive fan of Claire's Corki, by the way. That was, I really was inspired by that pick. I think that if you guys play this again, please take that one. As we see Nah picked up.
Okay, so Nah, one trick banned out. Yeah. Zac taken away from Babip as well, which is
potentially Camille up and available, something that Swiper has played a couple of times. Not to the same level of success, I would say. Sion is the other champion, but it's banned away as well. So they really have pinched Swiper here. And I think that for the next 3 weeks, or however long the Chiefs playoff run goes for, Swiper will continue to receive this kind of treatment until he shows that his champion pool is larger.
Yeah, I mean, really the ball is just in his court to prove otherwise. You know, this is maybe the 4th or 5th week that we've seen him pinched. Wouldn't surprise me at all to see him maybe die early in this game. I don't know what the picks are going to be, but just seems to be the trend, and this is going to continue long into the gauntlet unless he makes a change.
Yeah, so that's going to be Camille taken by the top laner of the Bombers, sleeping. Swiper hovering through some tanks right now. Ornn was flashed. Now they flash the Shen. Couple of old school legacy picks for him. Trundle is something we have not seen in a very long time. Cho'Gath wasn't really all the tank of choice for him. He was more of a Maokai main, but looks like it will be locked in.
Still picking. Okay, yeah, so they do opt to go with the Cho'Gath. Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai, well, okay, maybe they're just trolling with the hoppers. But Rek'Sai in Korea right now on 8.5 has like a ridiculously high win rate. He is maybe the 2nd or 3rd highest win rate champion in the jungle, and I expect a resurgence.
Yeah, see whether it does come across. I'm a big fan of Rek'Sai. I like linear champions. Rek'Sai does like one thing very well, like flash unburrow, goes untargetable with the ulti at the moment. Just think it's a fun kit. But it's going to be Nidalee. Babip's old school champion. Nidalee, Lee Sin. When I used to watch Babip run around in solo queue, these were the 2 champions I saw Babip play all the time. Definitely he's do best in my opinion.
Yeah, he's a monster in Italy, no doubt about it. He knows that champion inside and out. Very good at pushing his lead. He's he's just a fantastic Nidalee. Now, this matchup in particular, I'm not sure about. I think Nidalee would win for sure.
Has to.
She would
Red
definitely
Smite
win.
Nidalee wins like nearly. If you get the jump on someone with Nidalee,
the thing is all she has to do is stay range form and auto and dodge. If she dodges the axe, Olaf loses 9,000,000%. If she gets tagged by the axe, maybe there's room for Olaf to outplay, but I think Seb is just going to sort of power farm early and hope he can impact a lane where Nidalee isn't, because I think if Babip finds him, it's going to be some dangerous roads ahead.
Yeah, certainly could be the case. Top lane, he has good gank paths. They can get Luch into the side lanes as well early if he can generate some form of priority. He's got himself an Alistar, so Seb, get into the lanes early and try and impact. On the side of the Chiefs, really, if they farm this game for 40 minutes, they will win because they just have very good scaling.
They have one of those annoying comps where they have a ton of magic damage across the board and you want to stack MR so badly.
Got a Trist.
But you just know that this Trist is going to pick up a kill somewhere. She's going to get accelerated. You're standing there with your 2 Negatron cloaks and she's just rocketing you in the head.
That was the old school time when you go Thornmail, when you would have like 1,000 health from your like all your MR items, then you'd just be like, I have to buy a Thornmail now, which is going to be 120 armor, and hope that that is enough.
Yeah, so yeah, Trist Taric, I'm curious. I think it's one of those lanes where when you take nameplates off, you're like, okay, this is probably going to be a bit defensive, bit farmy. Ezreal, Alistar's going to be very difficult to kill. But it's Raze in Destiny. I just see that like the mental image of Raze jumping forward with a Taric stun is just so crystal clear in my mind that I know that there's going to be an all-in at some stage in the bottom lane.
And to maybe go further down that path, he's picked himself up the Doran's Blade as well.
Yeah.
So I think he thinks he is going to be jumping in as we are onto Summoner's Rift for game number 1. Will be Chiefs versus the Bombers. And we'll see what they think of these comps as we'll check in with Fantix and Laura.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm here with Fantix. Now, with the Chiefs coming into week number 8 on top of the ladder, how has this affected their mentality and their motivation for this match?
We just see Bombers, as like a match where we just have to 2-0. Like, so I guess there's like motivation behind just playing solidly and not like doing anything out of the ordinary and securing like, top spot.
Well, taking a look at this draft, the casters don't think Volibear's a great pick at the moment. So why did you ban him out?
It's just because it's something that both their top and jungle kind of like play quite a bit in solo queue. So we just want to avoid something that we haven't been practicing against. Kind of similar to how every team bans got against Shock, I guess. And
for quite a few weeks now, we've seen a lot of teams try to get Swiper behind in the laning phase. What are your thoughts on this tactic? And is this something you're working towards preventing?
Yeah, it's definitely something we're working towards preventing because like if he's dying, then he's doing something wrong. But at the same time, it's probably not the best way to play against us because it's too much of like a risk to just ignore the rest of the map completely. So yeah, we'll just see how it plays out.
Well, best of luck with this series and thanks for talking to us, Fantix.
Thank you.
I love when Fantix is trying to fight back, because you can hear him kind of giggling as he's talking. He just wants to be like, come on, we've got Ryoma and Ray. Surely you should pay attention to them. But he's just like, yeah, it's kind of working, but okay.
Yeah. Babip has gone with Leopard Nidalee. He is a serial skin abuser. He will use all the... As soon as a Nidalee skin... You remember how Nidalee skins, they used to... Like, you couldn't see the certain spears on, like, Headhunter and Challenger Nit.
Oh, actually, Headbutt Bolt down in the bottom lane. Ignite used as well. Tiger didn't go forward. One more auto and Destiny would have died, or at least forced to heal.
Yeah, would have forced to heal. Wouldn't have died. But that's... I mean, that's what we're used to seeing from Tiger. Let's be honest. He's an extremely passive player. Just plays not... It looks like, I won't say he will because I don't know him, but it looks like he plays not to lose, as opposed to playing to push his advantage and to really win.
Which is really strange because Ejim said that he played with him in solo queue and he was like a squidgy boy Tristana.
Yeah, right.
Like he was elite forward Tristana. So potentially it is stage nerves.
Could be.
Coming across with Tiger. Because I always say this, I think imports have more pressure than local players when they play in the OPL.
Absolutely.
Because you come to the OPL as an EU West import, you're like, I'm going to rock this place.
Yeah, yeah.
And then if you do not,
exactly.
I mean, it's a lot of pressure to go up against.
Yeah, a lot of question marks then, because I mean, again, I don't know all these imports personally, so I don't want to suggest that I know what they're thinking. But you know, when you come from a major region and you're challenger over there, or you play competitive over there, and the only thing you hear about OS is about how everybody sucks and we always get banned. Yeah, like when you finally get here and it's not as easy as you think, I imagine that puts a lot of pressure on an individual.
Absolutely. Rosie gets some good deep vision onto Babip with those wards. You can see Babip farming up a storm. Will be a camp up and got some good early vision down. There's also a bottom lane Rift Scuttler he can get, so if he gets the second Rift Scuttler of the game, Sam will be very impressed. But right now, probably just going to look for a shop, and Seb will do the same. Gold, perfectly even. Everything looks pretty even on the map, to be honest.
Yep. So yeah, not a camp lead, but yeah, he did pick up that crab. Both junglers opting into just the full clear, which is the ideal clear for both. Seb going for double jungle item plus the boots to get that early Predator proc, which I like. Completing the smite doesn't really offer you much. I mean, you can go blue smite for a bit of a slow. Does give you a tiny bit extra XP, but really like getting access to that Predator early, so good buy out of him. He's going to equalize that lead by taking this crab, and this game is going to move on further as a stalemate.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that really the pressure is on Bombers to do something early with the Taliyah, with the Camille, as opposed to the pressure being on the flip side, as Predator was procced. Where's the flick? It will land onto Ryoma, who didn't burn the flash. Now will burn it after taking some damage. However, Nidalee is here. Missed the spear. No red buff means she'll just get a couple of autos in.
Yep. Predator on the Olaf means that Nidalee can't catch him. Well, she can. Well, she didn't expect the speed and threw her spear based on what the normal the normal Olaf speed would be.
Yep.
But unfortunately, he runs at 1,000,000 miles per minute, so
See,
doesn't tag him with that.
Pulls that out, waits for the Rise to have priority in the lane before coming back. Stun out, misses. Headbutt Pulverize combo will not. In goes Rage, jumps on his head. Will be stunned up here, and he's fighting in a creep wave now, so will start to lose out. Nice trade for the Bombers.
Yeah, Ray's opting to all in there because Rosie used his entire combo on Destiny. Also, Destiny has Ignite advantage. We saw that Rosie used that earlier in the lane, so thinking that they have more damage, but unfortunately, yeah, the fight lasts a little bit too long, and those creeps do too much damage for Tristana to stay in that wave.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see Ryoma take a very good trade. He's already gone back, got himself a tier. It was matched, however, by Luch. So tier going to be picked up for a Seraphs. Every time I see Taliyah at the moment, I see Luden's Echo, but potentially it was just an awkward back timing at, you know, that 750 gold. Can't really buy all that much for
well,
that.
Potentially. I mean, the option for double Dorans and boots is there, or
Dark Seal boots.
Dark Seal boots, or Amptome Dark Seal, something like that. But Luch specifically has always been a tier builder.
Okay.
Even last year, for the last few years, I mean, he was always playing tier Orianna in solo queue, tier on Victor. He just really likes tier because his playstyle was just to farm forever. He would get those stacks, hold his mid tower until the 25-minute mark, and then tier just gives you so much
Dive down the bottom lane. Raze takes a lot of damage. Will jump away from his support. No real summoner spells burnt. Actually, Seb used his flash.
Okay, so trading jungle flash for no sums in the bottom lane.
Why did Seb flash there?
I don't know.
All right.
Good player
potentially
effect.
not seeing Babip anywhere on the map.
Yeah.
Gave him a bit spooky. I mean, Ryze can actually get down there pretty quick. Maybe it's not all that bad. Saves some HP. Doesn't have to go for a base or anything.
That, for me, is the big thing. When you can save HP, it means you can stay on the map. If he doesn't flash and he tanks an extra tower shot and Triss gets an extra 1 or 2 autos with that max charge bomb, all of a sudden he has to go base. Now, yes, he's burned the flash, but he's able to clear his bot side jungle, moving into the top side jungle, and essentially he's trading his flash for tempo.
And really, if CC lands in the lane, he doesn't need it as actually another all-in. Rosie has flash available, goes for the flash auto, but outplayed by Raze. In flashes Tiger, uses a heal as well, does not land, and now he's going to be Ignite. He's going to fall down. They're going to give the kill over to Babip. And now this red buff Nidalee will just sink some auto attacks in. Goes into the Cougar form. That will be a double kill, and Babip is ahead.
And that is an absolute nightmare for Seb. Seeing a Nidalee with 2 early kills while you're just doing your golem. She is going to be super accelerated as soon as she gets that base. Nidalee farms so fast once her jungle item is completed. And yeah, an accelerated Nidalee is a nightmare.
Yeah, absolutely goes back, gets himself a boots and an amp tome. Actually resells the amp. Oh, no, he doesn't. He just upgrades it straight away.
Yeah.
All right, wow. That's a big shot.
Yeah, big all-in from the bottom lane from the Bombers. Rosie, quite well played. He continues to tag Raze with the combo. Didn't flash immediately, which was probably the right call. Then he does try to flash, yes. Raze hits him with the on-reaction flash heal, which was good play out of him. But then Tiger, he extends us a little bit too far, desperately wanting that kill, misses the Q.
Yeah.
And then they both get punished.
And that's the thing, that you've won the play at that point.
Yeah.
So all you can do is win harder or lose.
Yep.
Because right there, Raze has no summoner spells versus Rosie having no summoner spells. You would rather have the 80 carry summoner spells in my mind.
in the mid lane?
Yeah, absolutely. Instead, they go for the 100 or nothing play, and it turns into the nothing. However, you do have to credit Raze's mechanics. He is just, he's a brilliant 80 carry to watch.
Yep. I mean, he was waiting for it. He knew it was coming. Yeah, hits both on reaction, which is what he needed to do, but you know, you need to reward people who can do it. You need to applaud people who can do it. It's assumed, especially as a spectator, you see the sums and you're like, oh, of course he's going to heal flash. But to actually do it on reaction is impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And to not do it early in a situation where you don't necessarily have to do it. A lot of people would have burnt that heal before the combo was even finished, as now they walk forward onto Destiny. Very nice use of the headbutt into the wall. Rosie actually looking very good today.
Rosie's looking fantastic on this Olaf, on this Alistar so far. Tiger, unfortunately, Q tags the minion, isn't able to do any damage, and Raze is just going to walk back into this lane and continue pushing.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see blue buff given over to Luch in the mid lane. Ryama is still waiting on his. Nidalee is chasing in. They have sight on where Olaf is, an inside track. That's a max range spear. Tags up the Olaf.
That hurt.
Gives him a quicker jungle clear. Thanks, Babip.
You moron. Yeah, look, that is that's one of the things with having those brown Predator boots early and not having the completed jungle item like Babip does. He's a little bit squishy. He doesn't have that completed Cinderhulk with the bonus health, so Babip definitely significantly stronger right now. Seb standing on a ward, and Leo's just hunting him. He's just hunting him. He's waiting for him to cross the river so that he can all in, because he knows he's going to one-shot this Olaf as soon as he shows.
He's so quick, Babip. You can see that Seb, he's running around. He's also quite quick, but every single time there's a lane under siege, you know, that bottom lane all-in is there, Babip's there. Top lane now being focused. Babip is there. He's just covering so much ground and relieving so much pressure.
Predator popped.
Let's see whether they can catch him out there. That is a blue smite. Already uses the ultimate. We said who wins the 1v1. It looks like right now. And he's going to be the Olaf. That's a kill picked up for Luch. In comes Sleeping as well. And that's a huge team fight victory for the Bombers.
What a massive Camille. Just cancelling that Ryze ult at the last second, saving Olaf's life. He lives with half a... I mean, I would love to see the actual number there, because I think that was below 10.
Yeah, it certainly was. As now they go for the all-in down in the bottom lane. And once again, the Bombers win out off the back of some silky smooth skills from Rosie. Tiger this time follows up the damage nicely.
Yep. Chiefs have to be scared here. Talia's cheated into the bot side river. She's standing on a pink, which is why she's not committing for this dive. Yeah, they're going to have to potentially give up a few CS. Raze burns his not satchel charge, the bomb.
Yep.
Burns his bomb on Alistar, which gives Tiger the opportunity to just run in and do damage, because he knows that the focus won't be on him, as we see a replay here. Leo gets caught in the jungle. Camille cheated out of top lane. She knew that this was going to happen. She's been extending the E range with that flash. What is that Olaf health? That's got to be less than 10.
Yeah, that is less than 10.
That's
definitely.
nuts.
And being able to keep him alive, get him those 2 assists is a big deal because he was seriously behind. Now catching up a little bit in that gold. He's only down, you know, the 600 from the upgraded boots and giving Sleeping a kill, giving Luch a kill. These are the 2 carries that I look towards, even though Rosie and Tiger are actually playing the laning phase very nicely, apart from that one mistake. I look at Luch and the solo laners of the Bombers to really try and take over this game.
The biggest positive to take from a Bombers aspect is that Ryze died.
Yeah.
Nidalee dying is good because, okay, maybe it slows her down a bit. She's not so accelerated. She stops hunting Olaf for a little bit. But the fact that Ryze died, I mean, Luch wasn't having an easy time in the middle lane. He's gotten a CS advantage now, but remember, he got the Chief's blue, he got his own blue, and he was still getting pushed in, poked out, forced into the river. And so Ryoma, I think, has been definitely outlaning him so far in this game. But Luch getting that kill, Ryze dying is relieved a ton of pressure. You see now he's got those Merc treads, and he's way less afraid.
Oh, however, Cho'Gath has an E.
He's got the flash E.
And just going to use it actually on the Olaf. And now he takes himself a Rift Herald as well. Big Swips gets the knockoff, and that is going to be Luch with no summoner spells here. Also falling down. The Titan in the top, the King of the North. Picks his team up a cheeky 2 kills.
Holy moly. And
actually, over the wall goes Sleeping right now. Babip in a little bit of trouble. Takes a big chunk of health there and will continue to be chased down. That's actually the duo lane in mid lane. What the heck are they doing here?
They're looking for Ryoma. Okay, they're just going to let him go. He was taking the blue buff. That was that was a game-winning play at a Swiper. I mean, this is still a very close game, but bot tower's going to fall. He has a Rift Herald for the mid tower. I mean, Swiper has given them the opportunity to break this game wide open. This was such a huge play. I thought
eat the Rift Herald, walk out.
Simple-minded Carbon. I was like, he's just going to eat the Rift Herald and get out. Instead, no, he goes Alpha, eats the Olaf, kills Luch as well, takes the Rift Herald. I mean, we had questions about Swiper before this game, and that is a huge play out of the veteran top laner.
Absolutely, and he's got himself a 101 scoreline. He's only down 7 CS. I would say this is a hard matchup for the Cho'Gath.
His jungler keeps feeding his lane, and he hasn't even died. So.
But Sleeping has a red buff now. This is every tank top laner's worst nightmare when a carry comes back with a red buff.
It is, but then he also has the quick recall. He's got Ninja Tabi. He's got the Baby Thornmail, the Bramble Vest. I think he'll be A-OK, to be honest.
Yep, certainly looks to be the case as we check in with the rest of the map. Luch, at 15 minutes, has the highest CSD of any top laners. He farms, on average, 12 more. So that's 2 waves at 15 minutes. Pretty impressive.
That's
this game, however, Ryoma will be right there with him. Also a good farmer in his own right.
You know, be a good stat. Seb CSD. Because I have a sneaking suspicion that Luch is pinching a couple camps here and there.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. He's a Season 4 mid laner.
He absolutely is. He never left Season 4.
Karthus Orianna, man.
Wraiths still belong to him.
Do you remember that when you used to see Karthus versus Orianna, and on cooldown they would go to your Wraiths and then they would go to your Wolves, and you'd be left with the 2 wings of the camps.
They had like 250 CS at 12 minutes or something, just something absurd.
That meta sucked.
I agree.
We see the Chiefs take themselves a cheeky dragon. It's going to be a mount.
A cheeky drag.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, bot tower falling on the back end of that Rift Herald play from Swiper means that they're going to have priority for a long time, and the bot side of the map now belongs to Raze and Destiny.
As we see Swiper actually being camped in the top lane, however,
it's that speedy recall. Yeah. The Rift Herald comes up trumps again.
Potentially they can look to break this turret,
They might find Raze instead if they're patient.
Ooh, they're not patient, however, so they're going to put in some work here. Red buff at this stage of the game actually destroys turrets, as you can see.
Camille also with the all those auto resets, and true damage, and machine.
So that turret will fall. Equalization, 200 gold the lead right now for the Chiefs at 16 minutes. They've got themselves a turret in the pocket, which right now they are deploying in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good wall.
That's a good wall.
Only Shelly doesn't go through. Shelly goes through the wall?
Yeah, but she doesn't break it. The wall stands.
King in the North.
The Watch doing their job. Nice watch.
As we see actually a repel of this mid lane siege, which is a big deal for Italia. You said that Luch is a mid laner that wants his mid lane tier 1 standing at 25 minutes in.
Yep.
he will have a chance now to defend it.
Yeah, that is a big missed opportunity by the Chiefs. I mean, like you said, fantastic wall out of Luch there, but that standing tower, that tower that they had in their pocket, if they were able to take the mid tower and then they have mid and bot tower, that stops Taliyah from roaming. It puts a ton of pressure on Olaf in his own jungle. And that really would have broken the game open. But instead, we find ourselves only 100 gold the difference.
And you can see Swiper. He didn't get camped in the laning phase, but this is a camping.
Oh, absolutely.
Every time he tries to show on a wave, there are 3 or 4 people in Fog of War on his side of the map, and he's now gone down 40 CS due to that fact. So just as old Swips did last split, he just goes and takes a Krug camp for himself.
Absolutely.
But this turret will fall, and this will give Bombers their first gold lead of the game.
Yep, Swiper doing his best to absorb pressure at the moment, but if you're absorbing pressure, your team needs to do something elsewhere, and the waves are about to crash in the top and mid lane. They aren't able to get the mid tower, but perhaps Ryoma will be able to do something here.
Yeah, absolutely. At this stage of the game, Ezreal is not going toe-to-toe with Arise. Backed away from that turret. You see top jungle under fire. However, teleport is up and available, and there is a good pink ward in the top side of the map. So if they want to go for a 5v5, there is potential for it. Interesting that they haven't sent the Taliyah up here to deal with Ryoma, because he's just pushing for free.
I feel like Luch really wants to gank this bot lane. He's just waiting for Cho'Gath to show. He's sacking tempo just to try and kill this Cho. I want to point out what difference between Sleeping and Paprise from the last series. Paprise, when he was ahead, when he had the tower, he was also 2-0. He didn't take jungle. He didn't do anything. He just cleared waves and left. Sleeping, he's pushing the wave in. He runs straight into the jungle to steal the red. He drops a bunch of wards down. I guarantee as soon as the Krugs spawn, he's going to try and look for those Krugs as well. When you're a split pusher and the rest of the map is sort of even or behind, you need to make sure you're pushing that advantage. They've invested resources into you. It's now your job to carry.
Absolutely, and if ever he runs into Babip, he needs to go for the kill, because that shuts down so much of the tempo and the control that the Chiefs still have on the map. As Luch going to dodge out on that max-range spear, and you can see they've just divided the map perfectly in half, because at the same time, Ryoma is very big right now. 211 CS, 2 completed items on the Rise.
Oh, they're going on Rise here.
Yeah, actually, this is the TP ward I talked about. That's a good wall coming across. Teleport will be in response. However, they actually collapse onto Babip. They force him out. They really want Babip. They're chasing through. Good headbutt, pulverized. Flash away by Sleeping. And can they continue this fight? Yes, they can. Go back in. That is a huge ultimate on the Taric. Luch will die, giving the reset over to the Tristana if she wants to go for it. Good kite back right now. Flash forward from Swiper. Big headbutt pulverized combo. Continues the fight. Rage goes down. 3 versus 2 now as only the tank's up for the Chiefs, and they're going to get torn apart. Swiper will get one of them, but that is a 5 for 3 and an ace for the Bombers.
Massive team fight coming out of the Bombers there. It starts off with a pick on Ryoma. The entire team, TPs, they run up there, they sprint as fast as they can, and we end up with a 5v5 about 16 minutes into the game in the topside river. Ryoma, burn a cleanse on Luch. Sleeping does so much damage to Babip. I love the ult on Ryoma, not allowing him to get away. Rosie's able to follow up with the pulve combo, but here comes Raze on the back end. Beautiful combo onto Luch. He's just waiting to jump forwards. He wants to jump forward so bad, but Sleeping is just so strong. Stun and a Q misses. Sleeping comes in on the end.
Rosie's turn here is actually like game-changing for the Bombers. If he doesn't land that, if he dies there, one more auto, that team fight is a wash. Raze is popping off.
Tristana, as soon as Tristana gets that one extra reset, she was waiting for so long for the bomb to explode on Taliyah before she could jump. All she needed was one extra reset, and we were going to see yet another massive Raze team fight. Wasn't to be. Rosie, I think, is having potentially the best game he's had all split.
Chiefs, meanwhile, in that replay, lost another outer turret, and this is the first time I've ever seen this. We've got
Ludens and Seraphs.
Yeah, and that Ludens will only give him 10 cooldown reduction because Haste is a unique passive across all of the new Lost Chapters items. However, obviously, valuing that and a little bit of the mana.
I wonder that bonus mana probably helps your Archangel staff give you a little bit bonus.
One more time, they've gone on to Ryoma. However, the wall just a fraction too late.
Yep. Top wave pushing in, so Bomber's probably going to have to deal with that soon.
Ooh, Infernal Dragon.
Yeah, good opportunity here for Chiefs to look at mid tower and the Dragon.
See whether the Bombers want to contest. The team fight right now
down here.
looks very good for the Bombers. Sleeping is 5-0-2 and will one-hit someone. Do they go in? They're too late on it.
Yeah, Dragon's just going to get melted. Cho'Gath's looking to base. He doesn't have TP, so no, cancels it.
They don't have access to any of the waves right now.
Well, the thing is Chiefs know that both their side waves are pushing in. So if they just run mid and keep Bombers there for as long as possible, they're going to deny them a ton of farm.
At the same time, if Sleeping goes over this wall and gets onto Babip, he will just one-hit him. Does not go for it. The team isn't there to follow up. Instead, they just look for some poke, and they're going to have to go get those side lanes that you aforementioned.
Yeah, I mean, the thing for Bombers to keep in mind, and if they watched yesterday's OPL, they would have heard us talk about it. It's so difficult to engage onto a Taric. If Sleeping went over the wall there, Taric ult would have saved whoever he went on, and they would end up dying, as we see with Baron
Sleeping with no teleport, show bottom lane.
They know
and this is a quick Baron with a big secure from Cho'Gath. They need to play for the fight. Whoa. Baron dead, and actually no response from the Bombers.
I thought they knew what was happening. They ran into the river almost immediately, but not having vision, Fog of War having a massive impact there, and Chiefs able to just steal one away. They have a Mountain. They've got Tristana, Ryze, Nidalee, Cho'Gath. That's a ton of Baron damage, and look, great macro play.
Absolutely, and they just got themselves 6% bonus stats as well as all the combat stats from Baron and a couple of 1,000 gold without having to start a fight at all.
No.
So this game firmly in Chiefs' control.
Yep, still only 200 gold the difference, but Bombers have been winning the team fights, so Chiefs definitely in control macro-wise, and the worry now for Bombers is as soon as Chiefs get a good team fight, I fear that this might just blow out.
All right, now my question to you is, who is a worse team fighter, Olaf or Nidalee?
Olaf, for sure.
Okay.
Nidalee, especially with the build he has, Athenes, he might follow up with an Ardent later. Nidalee has at least utility. She's got some poke, she has the traps for vision, the heal actually gives a ton of attack speed. Especially when you get it maxed, and she does max at second, so that heal is going to be huge on Tristana.
As Sleeping actually goes onto Swiper, burns the ultimate, and immediately in comes Talia as well. Sleeping not necessarily winning this 1v1. Does he have to? Yes, he does, because he gets knocked up, and now the rest of the team going mid lane. Rosie is also down here, so they've committed so much onto the rock in the top. Goes forward, Sleeping, grabs himself another kill, but what can the Chiefs get in response? Pushing down mid. They use that Banner of Command. That is a huge melee creep. Absolutely pummeling the turret. Why do we use it on cannon minions? That thing's going nuts.
Massive spear out of Nidalee as well means that Tiger can't play aggressive at all, and Chiefs just run from mid to top. They take all the jungle on the way, and this is going to be a gigantic gold swing just for a gank.
Yeah, however, probably an indefensible turret against the Banner of Command. So at least they take Swiper off the map. They lose 2 turrets for it, but maybe this is all they get.
I don't know about that, because they lost 2 towers in the mid lane there. They didn't lose 1. If they could have forced the Banner of Command to break only the first one and then held the second. But ganking bot means
Luch goes forward. Actually, that's going to be a Ryze flash forward. 3 big crits in a row, actually. Good players crit more, and that's going to be another turret falling down. Luch so far up in an unwatered side of the map.
Chiefs are just so good at pushing their lead. A bit like the Direwolves. They just, as soon as they're ahead, they force so hard, and especially with the changes to Baron, they're not afraid to just punish you as much as possible. And when we think about it, they didn't even get the Baron off of 1 team fight. This is the power of Baron on 8.4.
Absolutely.
You know, gold can be completely even, but Baron means that you have a really easy way to get a gold lead.
Fraze uses his hop to get out of the base. Sleeping is looking for it, but will not be able to find anything. So top lane broken. Now that is 4 turrets off the back end of a Baron and a 4,000 gold lead. We said it was about 200 after the Baron buff. So all in all, about a 5,500 gold swing.
Yep.
Just off the back end of that good macro play. And they're not done yet. They're still sticking around. Can they find a team fight here?
I wonder if Banner of Command is coming off cooldown soon. Yeah, not long on it, so maybe one more opportunity to push some waves.
They continue to slow here. Swiper, that spear will go high wide, not hit. And finally the Chiefs will recall, spend all that money. It's going to be a 3-item Tristana. It's going to be a 3-item Ryze as well, most likely.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the spooky thing. They were pinning them in their base without having spent all the gold they just made. This is going to be an incredibly difficult hold for the Bombers now. Olaf, so useless from behind.
Oh, Talia wall. Actually, can they stun him up here? Yes, they can. They keep him in with the Camille ultimate, and Ryoma falls down.
Okay, that is a fantastic pick. Compared to that Cho'Gath pick, the reason that is so good is A, it was quick. That's the #1 thing. They didn't give Chiefs the opportunity to get all sorts of other objectives around the map. They instantly killed him, and that's the most important part in making a pick. Also, it's a priority member. It's not the Cho'Gath that's a tank that, you know, Chiefs were... It was so easy for them to push. They had all their carries still. But when they kill the Ryze instead, the game is paused, and it gives them an opportunity to delay. Fantastic ult there to cancel the Ryze ult, but really no counterplay available for Ryoma, and a pretty easy pick in the end.
No, can't get out of there. And now with Ryze not on the map, they can't really push the tempo. They still go into the jungle. They're going to look towards another dragon in 30 seconds' time. The mid laner will be back up and available for it. However, GA now picked up for sleeping, which means that he can get into the back line, kill someone, and potentially come back alive. It's going to be a Mountain Drake next up and available.
Yep, so double Mountain Dragon, always spooky. Baron is not that far away, I imagine, probably only 2 or 3 minutes.
Yep.
And double Mountain, Tristana, Ryze, Nidalee with a Cho'Gath to secure. You got to think that Bombers will have to look for a team fight beforehand.
Absolutely. I mean, they've just been choked off all their objectives. Every time they try and catch a side wave, the Chiefs say, all right, cool, we'll take ourselves a free objective on the opposite side of the map.
Yep.
Always pre-planned, and it actually looks like the Bombers are going to use this time to get vision around the Baron area, try and get first there, maybe force a face check. Something along those lines, because they don't actually fight for the Dragon.
No, well, I think if there's one thing we can take from this game, it's that Bombers take Fog of War very seriously. If they don't have vision, they don't want to risk dying walking in, which, you know, can be a good trait. It does mean that you're unlikely to lose the game via, you know, a face-checking throw, but at the same time, you know, you can't sack the entire map and expect to win.
Yeah, it certainly has been a losing strategy so far in the OPL. As we see, Destiny face check by himself, and he's going to get slowed. Has to... No, he didn't burn the flash. He just used a stun and walked away from that.
Yeah, Olaf, Seb opting not to use the ult. And he's only level 13.
Yeah,
he's so weak.
Certainly is. We actually see a Ryze port coming in. That's a flash backwards
Oh,
by Tiger and a go forward by Rosie. In goes Olaf. However, they've isolated Ryoma. He gets himself into that ultimate. On the back end, however, Sleeping has flashed on Raze and one hit him. So now they've got a Baron here. Ryoma has to burn the flash. However, Sleeping is on the back end and will be able to get in there. Huge stun combo. However, Ryoma will fall down and the rest of the Bombers will continue this chase. Flash out a Swiper. They can just go Baron. 20 seconds available. No carries for the Chiefs.
Is this 2013 or what? Rosie is playing out of his mind. What an amazing alley combo. Sleeping in the middle lane, manages to get that all-important pick onto Raze. Raze comes up huge so often for Chiefs in these team fights, but not able to do it against the 6-0 Camille. And Baron spawning in 5 seconds. You got to think that this is one for the Bombers.
Yeah, it certainly should be. Sleeping has teleport, so he can go back, clear that wave out very quickly as a full AD Camille, and teleport here if there's any kind of the fight. And the Chiefs, they do the respectful thing. They give it up, and the Bombers at 29 minutes into this game will go back to being dead even with the better split pusher.
If you remove the nameplates from this game, I would not call this a first versus seventh match. This has been very back and forth all game. Some creative plays from both sides as we see the solo kill out of Sleeping. Raze just gets clipped. A little bit disrespectful. Does he have
played that so well?
I mean, he doesn't have flash. I think Sleeping played it, yeah, pretty much as well as he could have. And Raze being dead means that this team fight is almost lost immediately.
Absolutely. Getting the flash out of Swiper. It's all the little things because now Swiper versus Sleeping in the side lane. A little bit more difficult for the Iron Man Titan to try and navigate. If you send a Taliyah wall down there, how does he escape? How do they relieve pressure? And
level 18 now for Sleeping. GA also didn't get popped in that team fight, so he can just fling himself in there again if he likes.
Not since Origin. When we were victorious, Carver, the first time we've been on the same team, have I seen Swiper be Flame Horizon. And Sleeping...
He's almost there.
...is about 8 CS away from making it happen.
He's very close. I mean, and you know what's funny is we spoke about Swiper. He absorbs pressure, but also he's feeding at the same time. This game, he didn't feed.
Yeah.
He did absorb this game. He did absorb pressure, and he did it without feeding. And yet, this is the one where the opposition top laner really is having an impact. So, super unfortunate.
Maybe he was right all along.
Yeah, maybe he should be feeding. Maybe that would have worked better. I don't know. But yeah, Bombers find themselves in a really strong position. Still 1k gold down, but Sleeping, he's just got so many items, and
He's a
Level
monster.
18.
He's level 18.
He's ready to
level on
one-shot the
map.
first guy he
He's
sees.
4 levels higher than Raze. Raze is the one that's really terrified because you
Yeah.
saw what 1 second Q did to him.
Yep.
He ever gets caught out again, especially with the ult being able to just lock everyone else out.
Yep.
Potentially looking for Babip here. Do they
Still
go deeper?
No banner of command completed on the side of the Bombers, so unlikely that they're going to be able to get an inhib here without diving.
But I think they might just potentially look for the dive. I mean, you can
They
see
do not.
Spears
Oh.
coming out.
Ali with no flash.
That's a good
I'm
point,
not sure
actually.
about this dive.
All right.
I think maybe look at the outer towers, maybe look at the standing gold. There's still 2 outers for them to pick up. That's a lot of gold.
And they've used a lot of their Baron buff already. It's only got a 1/3 left on it. So they're sitting in Fog of War trying to generate a pick, but the Chiefs just aren't giving it to them. They're not leaving the base right now.
And this is the difference. Chiefs with the Baron, decisive, quick. They're taking jungle camps. They're taking outer towers. They're developing that gold lead. Bombers are hoping for that Hail Mary. Crossing my fingers, hoping that Raze decides to just walk in and pick up a Wraith camp
much
with
do you want a
absolutely
red
no
buff,
vision.
Raze?
Yeah, exactly.
Enough to lose a game for it?
Yeah, so, you know, they've now based. Baron probably not going to last that much longer. They don't have that banner of command. Standing towers, they're still up, so instead of taking control of the game the way we saw the Chiefs do it about 10 minutes ago, instead they just stall with the Baron. Gold is now completely even. And I mean, they're hoping that Sleeping pulls off another amazing play because I wouldn't want to play against a late-game Tristana Taric.
Yeah, certainly would not, especially given the fact that that is probably going to be an Ardent Sensor board with that, what is that, Idol, Forbidden Idol called?
Yeah.
Especially given the fact that they've got control over Dragon. So talk about options. If the Chiefs get this Dragon, that is going to be a 4-Dragon Elder Drake.
Oh, yeah.
One of them is bad enough. If the game goes again, you're going to be playing against 2 of them potentially. So eventually the Bombers are going to have to take a fight in a situation that the Chiefs will have set up for.
And here's the thing. Bombers don't actually want a team fight. Whether or not they've realized it yet, 5v5 fights are not good for them. Olaf is useless. We don't want Camille coming in from the front. She wants to come in from the side and one-shot a
They
priority
actually
target.
go in on Tiger and they just pick him up instantly. That was a flash route. And if that is an important Drake, which it is.
Fire, double mountain. Chiefs getting so lucky with their dragon spawns.
Yeah, if that was double ocean, double cloud, we're talking about a different game.
Completely different game.
It isn't. So we're talking about this one.
Yep. This is almost the perfect dragon spawn. If there were 4 dragons, I can't think of a better. Maybe, I don't know about the maths. Maybe mathematically it's better to have 3 of one and one of the other.
Yeah.
But double mountain, double fire sounds pretty good, especially with a scaling team comp.
Well, I just think given the fact that, you've already got the crit user, you've already got a Rise who just, mana plus the multiplicative nature of the death cap, two fires is going to be enough. There's only so much you can kill people. You saw how quickly,
so much damage you can do.
Yeah, you saw how quickly Tiger died. Like, You don't need more damage than that most likely in the late game. So having the extra pressure on Baron from the Mountain Drakes, I would say in this game is very valuable.
Yeah, and the scary thing about this is this Tristana, not only is she 4-2,
and they
350
spot out
CS.
Swiper here. They do, but they don't go for the play.
Yeah, no vision on anyone else. Bomber's very respectful of the Fog of War. But this is a 4-item Tristana. She's got the boots as well, and we cannot. Literally, and this is off the top of my head, I think it's like 90%. I think it's like just sub. Actually, 90%. That's not possible. I don't know, but it is. Someone please tweet at me. Tell me what it is. It is some absurd number. The attack speed she gives you on a maxed heal. And this Tristana is just going to be able to stand and deliver.
Oh, and I don't normally like to correct people like Destiny because they're much better at the game than me.
Yep.
But I actually think this Ardent Sensor isn't necessarily the right choice here because I'm looking at the fact that double Zeal plus Zerka Greaves plus Nidalee heal.
Yep.
And I'm thinking he doesn't need more attack speed. He probably needs a Zeke's Convergence, to be perfectly honest, even though I don't like the item all that much.
Or Knight's Vow, anything, literally anything.
Like that.
Locket. He'll be capped.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm convinced. So, yeah, not a big fan of the Ardent either, but, I don't know. Cho'Gath auto attacks, Nidalee maybe auto attacks. At the end of the team fight, sometimes when you have those team fights where the carries die and it's just sort of a tank versus tank or like only the junglers and supports are left.
Taric himself is just whacking away on people.
Exactly. At that stage, the Ardent is good, and it's massive for taking Baron. You take objectives of Baron so quick when you can just give the entire team an attack speed buff.
So I would say this is probably one of the last hopes they have. Baron is up in 38 seconds. They've lost control of the mid lane wave.
Yep.
So they're trying to generate a team fight. Look at how much damage Raze does.
But they don't want... That's the thing. They don't want one.
Oh, okay. Look how much damage Tiger takes.
Yeah.
Is probably a more accurate representation to discuss.
I think these guys have just...
Lucha's actually been caught. Lucha's going to die.
Flash. He's got cleanse.
Cleanses away, however, if Race
and that's
just jumps
access
in,
to the middle tower.
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs right now got middle track. They just might win the game right here, right now.
They have the double mountain.
They can go back towards Baron if they would like. They've forced 2 of the carries to recall. And the Bombers just gave up so much mid lane priority trying to generate a face check, and the Chiefs didn't play their game.
And they are going to one-shot this Baron. It doesn't matter if Bombers sprint straight to it. As soon as they start hitting it, this Baron is going to die.
Yeah, absolutely. Get rid of the blast plant. Get in the
Look
pit.
Look
Already at half health. And it will go down even lower. Do they play for the fight? That is the ultimate out of Shogun. Huge headbutt pole for Rosie. Your team is on the other side of the wall. He's going to just have to walk this one out. Taric ult will now expire. Huge flick onto 2 members. Ingo's sleeping, gets bitten, gets put into GA, and Raze is just marching forward, flashing forward onto the carries. Rosie goes back in. Seb looking for it, but Sleeping went over the other side of the wall, and you can just see they cannot stand up in a 5v5. Flash forward from Destiny, tags up Tiger. That's the reset. In goes Raze, and the perfect player is popping off. Triple kill achieved. And they will just march it down mid lane and pick up game number 1.
Yeah, that Baron just fell so quickly. Rosie again, I mean, this is a Chiefs victory, but I still believe he played so well. He again finds that giant combo, but Talium Wall means that no follow-up damage is there. And I mean, Seb flashes forward. Sleeping tries to get involved, but this Tristana is just way too big. And
way too big, way too strong. And even though Swiper gets Flame Horizons, the Chiefs win another game.
The Pressure Absorber.
The Pressure Absorber.
That's
King
a new nickname. King of the North, Armnet Titan, Big Swips, DOS himself, the Pressure Absorber.
He's going Super Saiyan. His hair's more blonde. The more you kill him, the stronger he gets.
Oh, man, what a game.
That was actually
a
very
fun
good game.
That was a fun game. I mean, I enjoyed casting that. I'm glad I was here.
Even though the Bombers lose that game, there was definite windows.
Yeah,
they had the stronger split pusher. They had a Baron buff with a little bit more of that decisive play.
Yeah.
Maybe if they have a Banner of Command, something along those lines, could have been a different tale. But they fall just short, and against a top place team at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, let's not lose sight of that. Chiefs are #1 in the comp right now. They cannot afford to lose a game if they want to hold on to that spot, and they just got pushed to the edge by the Bombers.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was in areas that we maybe never really thought to look. Rosie having a throwback performance on the Alistar.
2013, long hair, bring it back.
Tiger actually looking kind of aggressive in the bottom lane. He flashed forward for a kill. Didn't work out, but I like to see the mentality shift.
He tried. I agree. Yeah, big game out of the Bombers. I really liked Sleeping's performance as well. A lot of team fights where he was picking people off, or he was making a lot of picks, killed Rim in the bottom lane, managed to get that huge kill on Raze in the middle lane. But I feel like that's just a really good VOD for the Bombers to review, because both the Bombers and the Chiefs had the same opportunities during that game.
Yep.
Right? They both had snowballing members. They both got an opportunity to play with the Baron. But you could just see what Chiefs did when they had the opportunities and what the Bombers did when they had the opportunities. And Chiefs just a little bit more effective.
Exactly right. A little bit too good on the day to break that one down further. Let's throw it over to Laura and Spooks.
Thank you very much, guys. Chiefs able to take game #1 in this series, but it wasn't the clean Chiefs we're used to seeing. I have to say, first place team getting handled a bit. Yeah, pushed to the limit. But I think what decided this game was the commitment of both teams. Yes, it was especially around objectives, I should say. Yes, the Bombers were able to get a Baron during that game, but the Chiefs were able to easily get the first Baron due to the Bombers not committing to taking any objectives in the early game.
Yeah, so yeah, as Tim said on the desk, you really saw the difference between like an experienced team and an inexperienced team. Chiefs were incredibly decisive on their calls, especially the first Baron. You know, they saw Bombers out of position and they went straight onto the Baron. And as soon as they got the Baron, they were really good, you know, like setting up, breaking the towers. Whereas on the other hand, like Bombers on an individual level, particularly Rosie and Sleeping, played really well. But when they had those opportunities, you know, with the first Baron, they only broke one inner turret. Possibly Rosie should have bought a banner instead of a locket, so they could have potentially even broke the base. They just didn't use the opportunities that they got on a macro level.
Going back and talking about Sleeping, he got absolutely fed this game, and the top side of the Bombers did seem to perform well at the start of the game, but you were saying that maybe there was some miscommunication between the bottom side of the map?
Yeah. So I think with Rosie and Tiger early on, there was a lot of combos where I thought Rosie was like creating good opportunities, but Tiger was not following up with the E. Little bit indecisive. I feel like if they took those early wins bot lane, they already won top side. Well, they won top side after, but they would have won both sides of the map, and that game could have very easily snowballed. So a little bit of miscommunication from Tiger and Rosie, which potentially could have won them like the game early on.
I want to actually ask you about communication, especially as a jungler. How crucial is clear communication in these competitive games, and how easy is it for communication to get like very convoluted?
Yeah, I think especially in OPL games, it's a lot different. Like I think, even we showed yesterday that we were making a lot of plays on the side of the map that I wasn't. So as a jungler, you kind of always, your team moves with you. So whichever side of the map you move to, your team can make a play on. And I think that game, this game particularly showed that the Bombers bot lane were all in when Seb was top side and Nilly was bot side. And when there's a lot of pressure, which, during OPL there is, those kind of errors pop up, which potentially they wouldn't in scrims. So making sure, especially when you're under pressure, that the communication is crisp is a big deal for top teams.
Going into game number 2, what advice would you give to the Bombers, but also the Chiefs, because it wasn't a very clean or nice game from them?
Yeah, I think what happened with the Chiefs this game? They just, I guess, sleeping. Honestly, Bombers just made really good plays, top side of the map, and the kills went on to the right player. Sleeping, got I think 3 or 4 kills early on, and they were able to abuse the side lane because of that. I think Chiefs just need to slow down a little bit. They are the stronger team, and if they play slow and methodical, they'll win pretty easily. I think for the Bombers, they just need to, as I said before, they just need to capitalize on their opportunities. If they get a lead, if they get a Baron, be decisive. Don't be afraid. It doesn't matter who you're versing. You should play the same way against all your opponents.
We'll have game number 2 coming up very shortly. But before we do, we asked you all to send in your questions for Spooks to answer, and we have 5 that he is going to answer right now. The first one coming in from Ryan, who says, as my favorite jungler in the OPL, what 3 tips can you give to any jungler to help their game?
3 tips as a jungler. All right, so the biggest one is to not tilt. The jungle role is in my opinion, is 60% of the things that happen are out of your control. And if you're patient and you have a good mindset, you will improve. Maybe your team won't improve, but you will improve. So just I guess make sure that you stay positive. A lot of the time, the game is out of your control because the jungle is a lot of the time dictated by lanes, lane priorities, stuff like that. The second tip is just play what you have fun. I think Prey said it in an interview in LCK recently. If you're not having fun playing the game, you're not going to learn. You're going to get burnt out. And if you are burnt out, don't play. Just chill, relax for a little bit. And the third thing as a jungler is just, I think tracking the enemy jungler is a very hard thing to learn. But if you start early, trying to just focusing on yourself, but also what the enemy jungler is trying to do. If you keep doing that over a long period of time, it's something you'll pick up and it'll have a big improvement on your game. Our
second question comes in from Matt, who says, can you see Kai'Sa being a viable jungler in the pro scene?
Yeah, you're asking the wrong guy, honestly. I have no idea what Kai'Sa does. I was watching QtPie's stream and it looked pretty bad. I think they hot fixing her or something, or buffing her on 8.5. But I honestly have no idea of Kai'Sa, so I'm sorry for that one.
I've seen some people playing her jungle, and she actually looked really good.
Oh, well,
yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, we'll have to see. Hopefully, we'll see you playing her
maybe.
soon. Our third question comes in from Dean. Can you play Heimerdinger in the jungle?
Dean, Heimerdinger in the jungle. I don't know. These questions are out of my ballpark. I'm a bit of a meta slave, so I just kind of play the champions that are considered good. I guess Heimerdinger, what can you do? Can you clear camps? Probably. Put down some guns and watch your guns clear the camps. Maybe, but I can't see really you being able to gank or win a 1v1 jungle skirmish. So, no, let's be honest, he's pretty bad. He's not a good jungler.
Our fourth question comes in from Amanda. As a bronze support main who had the privilege of going 1v1 against Shernfire from the Direwolves, I went Lux into his Ezreal. It was a blind pick. If you were to verse Shern, who would be your go-to champion?
In a 1v1?
Yeah.
Who am I good at? I don't know. I'm not good at anything. No, 1v1, I reckon I could beat Sherney in an 80 carry matchup. All right? I think my Caitlyn is at least Diamond 3 level.
Did you play Kate into his Ezreal?
Yeah. No, Kate. I think Kate beats Ezreal for sure. I can just kill his turret. So, yeah, no, I've got him there. I've got you there, Sherney, mate.
And our fifth and final question comes in from Matthew. He says, hello, Spooks. Can you please give us some your personal power rankings for junglers in the OPL, perhaps a top 5 champions or players? Cheers.
All right. Yeah, it's always a bit of a hard one to rank players. But for sure, Shern is #1. I'm not going to include myself in this rank because, you know.
So humble.
I don't need
so
to.
humble.
Yeah. No, I think Sherney obviously #1. He's shown domestically that he's dominant, and even internationally, like he's put on some good performances as well. And he's, I think, the most stable member of Direwolves. #2, Babip, probably. Yeah, Babip. Who else is there? Babip and Sybil. Yeah, Babip #2. I think Babip's like really good at skirmishing. He's got good mechanics. Once he starts picking up on some other aspects of the game and like keeps improving, like for sure in the future he'll be a top jungler without a doubt. I think Sybil is inconsistent, but when he plays well, like obviously you saw yesterday, he hard carried against us. So like, I mean, no, but when Sybil's good, like he's really good. How many did I have to rate?
Only 5. So it's
5.
like only
Geez,
Juve,
that's a lot.
Seb.
Only Juve, Seb. Yeah. I honestly put Juves up there. I think he demands like not just solely as like a jungle player, but like as a teammate, like as a leader, like he's shown that, you know, his team thrives, like especially under pressure. Like in the Gauntlet last year, they beat Chiefs. Like I think he's like a big part of Sin, and without Sin, like they need, you know, a huge replacement. So as a person and player, he's a big deal to Sin. And I guess Only's again kind of similar to Babip. Very good mechanically. He's a bit more consistent, but a bit more passive at the same time. Like he doesn't take too many risks, which, like, I respect junglers that take risks. So, but like, you know, he is very consistent. So
There's your top 5.
that's my top 5. I think that was 5.
I think it was 5.
Sorry if I forgot someone, but oh well.
Well, there could only be 5.
Yeah,
but
deal with
anyway, thank you everyone for sending your questions in, and congratulations for those that picked themselves up a mystery skin. We're going to head to a break, but when we get back, we're going to have game #2 between the Chiefs and Bombers.
They're chasing through. Good headbutt pulverized. Flash away by Sleeping. And can they continue this fight? Yes, they can. Go back in. That is a huge ultimate on the Taric. Booch will die, giving the reset over. Big headbutt pulverized combo. Continues the fight. Rage goes down. 3 versus 2 now as only the tank's up for the Chiefs, and they're going to get torn apart. Swiper will get one of them, but that is a 5 for 3 and an ace for the Bombers. In goes Olaf. However, they've isolated Ryoma. He gets himself into that ultimate. On the back end, however, Sleeping is flashed on Raze and one hit him. Huge stun combo. However, Ryoma will fall down, and the rest of the Bombers will continue this chase. Rosie goes back in. Seb looking for it, but Sleeping went over the other side of the wall, and you can just see they cannot stand up in a 5v5. Flash forward from Destiny, tags up Tiger. That's the reset. In goes Raze, and the perfect player is popping off.
I mean, Seb flashes forward. Sleeping tries to get involved, but this Tristana is just way too big and
way too big, way too strong. And even though Swiper gets Flame Horizons, the Chiefs win another game.